Brett wouldn't have done. I know he wouldn't have done that kind of thing because he still, even though what Vince did to him, he still loved WWE. So you know, and also he had lots of, he had so many fans from around the world that loved him and stuff, and a lot of them, most of them they didn't take Vince's side, they took Bret's side, on that, and he made it worse. I know I watched the thing, but I remember watching that Raw episode when he was talking Vince, and he was just making excuses, trying to manipulate the fans.
I mean, that's it. The interview didn't had the opposite effect of what he was intending. The one with Jim Ross, where Vince says about the time-honored tradition, which was actually quite rare at the time. That was a nod that wrestling was predetermined, and they very rarely acknowledged that on TV. So that was quite the unique occurrence, really. Yeah. And then he said the words "Brett screwed Brett," and he, in his mind, it was people. He thought people would take his side over it, but they were fully behind Brett. I mean, it reminds you of that. It reminds you a bit of that. He hasn't learned his lesson, Vince McMahon. I know he's retired now. He hasn't learned his lesson, but that whole thing with Naomi and Sasha Banks, where he had Michael Cole making that announcement on TV about them being unprofessional, what have you.
Michael Cole probably didn't want to do it, but
I mean, you hope not. But it just it infuriated me. It was just so disrespectful to them. Well, also, I don't know if you heard about this one. When Mick Foley won the WWF title from The Rock, and the first time, Eric Bischoff made Tony Schiavone make a dig at Mick Foley and Mick Foley said, "Imagine this guy putting butts in seats." And people were angry with Tony Schiavone, but it wasn't really his fault. It was Eric Bischoff telling him to say that, and he just had to do as he was told. I mean, I understand that with Tony Schiavone. What I am still annoyed with Tony Schiavone about is how he basically no-sold Bobby Heenan. They'd commentate together, and it wasn't like Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon or Bobby Heenan and Vince McMahon, where Bobby Heenan would say outrageous things and the other guy would respond to it with outrage. Tony Schiavone would just let what Bobby Heenan say fall flat and not react to it. And and people say about Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan having great chemistry. They had anything but great chemistry. They just did not. Tony Schiavone just didn't let Bobby Heenan be him, really. I mean, I suppose you could say, was it Tony Schiavone again, or was it Eric Bischoff micromanaging him? I don't know, but that's my major gripe against Tony Schiavone, anyway.
But the relationship was nowhere near like Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Yeah, that was brilliant.
I mean, they were really close friends, weren't they? Bobby and Gorilla, and that chemistry sort of came across naturally on the screen.
Yeah, and even in his Hall of Fame, he said, he was crying. He said, "I miss Gorilla. I wish Gorilla was here." And also the episode of Raw when, obviously, part of the storyline was Gorilla Monsoon was supposed to be, I think, fired or suspended him, and he came to Raw dressed up as a woman, and then they took his wig off, and they realised it was Bobby Heenan dressed up as a woman.
And you're conflating two different things there. There was that eventually happened where Gorilla Monsoon threw him out, but yeah, that was the very first episode of Raw where it was seen to be so exclusive, not everyone could get in. So Bobby Heenan dressed up as different people to try and get in the building for the first episode. So
yeah, that was when he was getting interviewed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what you think about this, Lionel, because you're Jewish, but there's one where he actually dressed up as a rabbi trying to get in.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I'll show you that sometime. Yeah. So I don't know. You've got quite a good sense of humour. I don't think you'd be offended by it, but
oh no, that'll be funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. If once I've seen it, once I've looked at the actual footage,
yeah,
then I'll probably remember if I've seen it or not. Yeah. It's like Dean Ambrose when he got chucked out and he kept coming back as different people, including the Mountie. You know, like I said last time. But yeah, Bobby Heenan would have been, Bobby Heenan, and I'd love to seen Bobby Heenan, and it's a shame. I don't know. Obviously, Grinning Monsoon was ill, what didn't he? So you saw when he got, when he came out for his awards, how thin he looked. Then Grinning Monsoon, he was so ill. Then he
Yeah,
didn't look the same.
I think he was a timekeeper in a match, wasn't he? That's when you saw how thin he was. Yeah,
Yeah, and everyone cheered him and waved him.
yeah. Oh, no, he wasn't a timekeeper. He was a judge, wasn't he, for something? I think it may have been. I wonder if it was Butterbean versus Bart Gunn or whether it was something else.
No, I know, I know. There's a whole parade
Yeah.
old wrestlers around the ring.
Mm.
I don't know, but he was. I think that was obviously that was a bad time for wrestling, and because obviously Bobby Heenan was on WCW, wasn't it? That's why they made. I saw that tribute, the statement that Schiavone made with Bobby Heenan, yeah, and you could see Bobby Heenan that he was, if he wasn't on TV, he would have been crying his eyes out. But he was, but Bobby Heenan was. It's hard to recognise him that when how ill he looked, he looked, but he still had the same. Even though he still had only recognised him from his ring he had and the way his movements. He still had a little bit of him left, a little bit of the old. But obviously, his cancer was very bad. Obviously,
yeah, that was depressing, wasn't it? How sort of kind of how he was towards the end. It was.
I wouldn't even recognise it if he was.
Yeah.
If he was on TV just on another thing, I wouldn't. Yeah, he looks completely different. But unfortunately, they're together now. Bobby and Gorilla, but and all the other wrestlers that he's managed, Bobby, because he's managed. I think most of the wrestlers he's managed are all past. Most of them are on. I think.
Well, certainly Kurt Hennig. Yeah, he was managed by Bobby Heenan. He's passed away. Rick Rude passed away, but Bobby Heenan and Rick Rude didn't get on. So.
But they had to pretend to get on.
No. Yeah, I suppose on TV. Yeah, I think Rick Rude felt he didn't need a manager, and because he was good on the mic himself. Really, so he thought a manager was redundant. But I know I thought it worked.
Well, Rick Rude could talk, but I think I can't really judge if if I would have preferred it on his own or not. But obviously, I like it. I liked it when he slapped Andre Giant and Andre Giant chokeslammed, just whacked him.
Yeah, Andre's got as well. That's another one. Yeah.